Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, this is Kenya Revolutionary. Karibuni sana. I want to discuss what is the latest in the Kenyan politics, or should I say Kenyan politics. Topic is Rigathi Gachagua. Mangidi mwenyewe. Gachagua the Demagogue, who is, at this point, to me, he's a content creator. This guy is not a serious politician. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, and friends, enemies, and comrades, I hope you're doing well. I'm in an ebullient mood. I'm drinking coffee. Life is good. Chelsea is in the finals of the club, world champions, whatever the case is, whatever it is. We're in the finals. We are waiting on PSG and Real Madrid to sort their lives out so we can meet them on Sunday for the finals. So I'm in a good mood, okay? And I'm drinking coffee, so my spirits are high, okay? All right, so karibuni sana. I hope you guys are doing good, wherever you are. Now, let's get to business, okay? What's happening in Kenya right now? We know 2 days ago we had the Saba thing going on. And right now, I think the body count is like 39 people are dead, 31 or 39 something, 30-something people are dead because and the results of the Mandamano, the police shot them down, okay? Obviously, majority of them happen to come from a certain community, which are the Kikuyu community, youths, okay? Youth, that is, all right? So there was a trending hashtag that's saying we are all Kikuyus, which I already made a video about, and I told you how this that hashtag is very misleading, okay? And I'm not buying into it. It is designed to affirm a certain narrative that has been written, signed, sealed, and delivered by the political class, okay? Because they're desperately trying to ethnicize our politics. As I mentioned, that the reason why they want to make this a Kikuyu versus Ruto's government, whatever the case, the state versus Kikuyu, the Kikuyus being the victims, it's sort of the same thing they were doing during the Azimio time when Raila was still fooling us that he was actually fighting for the struggle of the people. The Luos were being, targeted, okay, profiled, as you may say, okay? So anyway, there's a couple of things I want to talk about. Firstly, I want to talk about Gachagua's statement. I didn't even listen to the whole of it because I already knew what he was going to talk about. He was going to go ahead and bleat about, Ruto is a murderer, Ruto is targeting Kikuyus, Ruto is stealing money, Ruto is corruption, extrajudicial killings, already the police. The same rubbish that we have grown to be accustomed to. We are not even surprised by what he has to say. It's just entertaining. That's why I'm calling him a content creator, a demagogue who's taking advantage of this situation to actually position himself as the mouthpiece of Mount Kenya. Now, the second thing I want to touch on is my theory, my analysis, my thoughts on why Raila Odinga came out and is talking about intergenerational conclave bullshit, blah, 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 blah. You understand what I'm talking about. You heard him say when he was at Serena. I will tell you why this man is calling for a dialogue. I will tell you why in a minute. But let's start with Gachagua, okay? Very quickly. My gadget here does not have a lot of power, so I will be forced to be very brief. So if you're going to be part of it, please get in the chat. Tell me what you're thinking. If you want to get to the studio, I will bring you in the studio maybe probably later after I finish my rant. Then maybe I can bring you in and you can give your 2 cents or whatever the case is. So karibuni sana. By the way, before even we get started, you know the drill, you know the routine, okay? If you are joining us for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and comrades, this is Kenyan Revolutionary. We're talking about Kenyan politics and the world politics as it relates to Kenya. So go ahead and subscribe. And once you've subscribed, if you've already subscribed, okay, and you are not new, like Shimariam is not new to the block, the first order of business, you know what it is, hit that like button. And not only that, put that notification on so every time I come in, you can always find me here. So you can get a notification and you know that when I'm on, so you can jump in the conversation and be part of it, okay? So let's get to it. So Rigathi Gachagua came out and held a press conference. Apparently, he's on his way to the U.S. Kudos. Please tell me where you're going to be with Gachagua. He's probably going to Boston, okay? Boston is where, listen. USA is like Listen, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. When I used to live in USA, I'm somewhere in Kipkorgot right now. But when I used to live in USA is kind of, it's kind of like Kenya Ndogo, okay? Boston, Massachusetts is known for the Kikuyus, a lot of Kikuyu population in Boston, Massachusetts. New Jersey is known as Kisumu Ndogo. Minnesota is known as Kisii. Kisis and Somalis, okay? Somali national and in Minnesota. They even have a senator from, Somali origin, okay? Then where else? Where else? Texas is known for Nigerians, okay? They're not Kenyans, but whatever. But anyway, that's not important. So Rigathi Gachagua said he's going to the US tonight. So if Ruto wants to arrest him, let them go ahead and arrest him, okay? But I want to focus on what he was saying. Few things that he was saying. I won't bore you with the usual nonsense. Kikuyu's culture inaitwa ngemi siaya. Okay. Okay, thank you for letting me know there's a ngemi siya ruraya, whatever the case is. All right. All right. I don't know how to respond to that. But anyway, back to the point. So Gachagua came out and said that he's making his way to the US, but he gave a press conference, the usual nonsense, okay? But this guy was being disingenuous by telling us, Ruto has been profiling our youth from Mount Kenya, Kibaki, and it's so funny he mentioned Kibaki and Uhuru Kenyatta. Kibaki and Uhuru Kenyatta never did this. They never violated the constitution. They never, used the police to as a militia to kill people. Where was this guy living when Uhuru Kenyatta was using Mungiki to kill people in Nyalenda? Where was this guy during post-election violence? I mean, some things, Gachagua anachukua watu ujinga. But again, that's the kind of response he wants from people. Gachagua is, I told you guys from the beginning of the time, Gachagua is desperately trying to, he's not desperately, let's say. Let me take this back. Gachagua is trying to divide people through. He's part of this metric. He's part of the Ninio, that this oligarchs. And I told you, his role is to do what? To isolate the Kikuyus. Have that siege mentality. We are the victims, the victim complex. Okay? That is what Gachagua is meant and is designed to. This whole impeachment thing was a choreographed orchestra by the political class in order to create tension between the Kikuyu elites, the perception, Kikuyu elites versus the government of the day, which is perceived to be what? To be a Kalenjin government administration that has entered into a coalition with the Luo community by the way of ODM, Raila Odinga, and the rest of those dandaheads, okay? That is the perception that they were creating, that these political elites, oligarchs, corrupt Western stooges came up with. That was a response to diffuse, to scuttle, to defeat the idea by the Gen Zs of having a tribeless, partyless, leaderless Gen Zs that was so effective that threatened to actually take back their power to the people, as the constitution mandates that the power rests with the people. The people are sovereign, okay? Okay, we hold this truth as self-evident, okay? So that is the role of Gachagua in all this. His job is to try to create that tension between, historically, politically speaking, the tension that has always existed between the Luo community and the Kikuyu community. The Luo and the Kikuyus, their political tension goes way back from the Tom Mboya's death up to the present day. And they're trying to revitalize that, reminding people of the atrocities that happened in 2007 when people died in Kiamba Church, people died in whatever the case is, Nyalenda by brutalization, Nakuru, We all remember that. So the political oligarchs, these Western stooges that they're taking their that are taking their directives from Buckingham Palace and Washington D.C., these colonial puppets, they are dividing the country through ethnic division. Okay, that is what they're doing. So Gachagua has a role. Gachagua's main role is to play as if he's the spokesperson, the defender of the Kikuyu nation. That's why he has always, watu murima, watu murima, watu murima, and all this nonsense. We know this. And the unconstitutional nature in which he was impeached was designed to actually evoke kukasirisha wa Kikuyu, the central Ninio, and it is working. And after that, they continue doing this by the public display of the impeachment Ninio and the courts, judiciary. Unakumbuka vile alikuwa anaenda judiciary? That was theater meant for the Kikuyu nation. When Gachagua was fighting his impeachment in the courts, it was orchestra. It was theater. They were playing to the public gallery. And the audience, the main target audience was the Kikuyu, Mount Kenya. Kuwakasirisha. Munaona, we are sacrificing your own, Mr. Gachagua. Tuna impeach, hatumtaki, na Raila naingia kwa serikali. So that it can create this tension between Luos and Kikuyus. Okay? Unaona? So that was the aim. And that was meant and designed, and it was dragged and televised to play into your emotions. The main reason why we have television, why do they call it television programming? It is to program your mind. Okay? Confucius said, whoever controls the images, that's what? Anaku control. Okay? Zile vitu unaona kwa TV, vipindre. That is what it is, basically. Yeah. Thank you. Did you? Unaona? So this is what they're trying to portray. Okay? Gachagua is part of it. Ndio maana unaona sasa anajifanya ati listen, go look at his history. This guy has always been anti-Kikuyu. Okay? In fact, it's rumors that he is mtoto wa Moi, a legitimate son of Moi. But that's another story for another day. Okay? So anyway, so what they're doing, like I say, they're heightening. Gachagua's role was to actually be the face of that, because Uhuru, even though he's a Mudamaki because of his name. Ametoka Uhuru Kenyatta family, wako na pesa ambayo wameiba, pesa kama ninio, pesa kama njugu, okay? Pesa ambayo wameibia wa Kenya, okay? They own every 5,000 acres of land in Kenya, okay? They rule. In fact, they have great influence in Kenyan politics, okay? Sasa hawa wanakaa backbencher, unaona? So Uhuru did not want to go to, Uhuru hataki kuwa in the day-to-day politics of every day kwa sababu we already know this guy is a drunk, okay? Incompetent, a killer. We know Uhuru is useless, okay? But he knows the pressure that comes with politics. So Uhuru anakaa backbencher and the whole sasa wanaacha Gachagua ndio sasa afanye kazi. Unaona? Sasa Gachagua anajifanya ati hakuna asikizani na Ruto, ati hakuna shida na Raila, anajifanya. I've been asking you guys, Gachagua has been doing all this, making outrageous statements about the government. Why is Gachagua not in jail? Unaona? So this is what's happening. Okay? So in order to defeat this Gen Z movement, they have to continue to heighten ethnic tension, okay, by pretending that they're playing politics, wanna defend the Kikuyu nation. Oh, na huku Ruto anajifanya, mkichoma police station, tutacharaza bunduki. It's all provoking people. You think Murkomen alitoka akasema the Murkomen pronouncement? Do you think he said that because it was designed to provoke you? ati Murkomen, a whole CS of intelligence security anaenda anaambia watu ati polisi mucharaze hawa watu bunduki. It was designed to provoke you. And it was designed to provoke. The target audience was the Mount Kenya people in our setup. And Gachagua on his part, yeye kazi yake ni to also kuzidi weka catalyst, inaitwa aje, exacerbate. Yeye ndio anaweka moto, anawachemsha. Anawaambia hey, mau. Why is Gachagua anakuja America? Nataka kumtafuta. I'm not in America, but niko huko ninio. Niko sawa gongo. For those of you know sawa gongo is. Naona huko. Mimi nafanyanga tizi hapo kama ya Fidel Castro hapo, napiga tizi hapo. Tutachapana na Ruto. But anyway, I would like to know where Gachagua is going to reside, because I want to talk to him one-on-one. Do not be surprised if I have an exclusive interview with Gachagua. One-on-one. Executive post. Anyway, so what I'm saying is this. So wanna to enjoy. I mentioned this on this channel, iliwaambia vizuri. The game plan. The game plan mwaka huu ni kusacrifice vijana wa Mount Kenya. Ndio maana nasema this is the time for Mount Kenya youth. This is the time for Mount Kenya youth to rise and shine. Okay? Mount Kenya youth can actually spearhead this movement, not to identify themselves by their tribe, but to identify themselves as patriotic Kenyans and stand up and say, no. Amwezi kuua vijana huko Central Province, whether ni Ngong, wherever the case is, okay? Stand up firm and actually mudil na Gachagua. Okay, because I know some people are saying, they're supporting Gachagua, because Gachagua ndio nakwambia. The reason why Gachagua has traction is because he's mixing the truth, but his intention are not pure. Because Gachagua anasimama anawaambia, we are being profiled. Is that a lie? No, it's not a lie. It's the truth. They are being profiled. Kwa sababu maandamano ilikuwanga predominantly ilikuwa imeshika moto huko Central Province, and majority of the people who died walikuwa nini? Wakikuyu, vijana Vikuu. So when he says that, he seems to be having a legitimate point. Anasimama, Ruto alikuwa na hasira, he was shaking with anger. Shaking with anger. And we can believe him because Kasongo ni muongo, so he seems like a legit person. But what I'm saying is this: you cannot trust a person who 6 months later he was telling us about how the maandamano that was happening, wana maandamanaji alikuwa anasema ati if there was no protest ungekuwa hakuna vifo, so ICC should even arrest watu ambao na maandamano. You see what I'm saying? You can't trust person who changes his mind within 6 months. All of a sudden ati sasa yeye ndio amejua kusimamia Wakikuyu wote. You see what? Lakini Kenya jamani. Huyu jamaa, it was just last year. Alikuwa anasimama government ya Ruto sijui ndio nini itapambana na hao andamana. Now sasa lakini Kenya jamani, Kenya ni vipindre. So Gachagua is not somebody we can take serious. This guy is a content creator, a demagogue, and is taking advantage of what is happening. The tension that he has created between the government, which is perceived as a Kalenjin administration that has entered into a coalition with a Luo tribal chieftain to actually profile the Kikuyu tribe of the Central Province. So that is the perception that they've created, that now you can see everyone is running with this hashtag of, we are all Kikuyus. Unaona? So that is what they're doing. But anyway, with Gachagua, so he's coming to the US. I don't know. Ataka for 3 months. I don't know where he will be, but I will be looking for you. Gachagua, if you know anybody from Gachagua, people who are going to stay host Gachagua, ama akienda kwa hoteli or whatever the case, I'm sure somebody will host him. Watu ambao wanaenda kuhost Gachagua. Gachagua, if you're watching this, reach out to me, Kenya Revolutionary. I want to talk to you. Nataka kukaa chini na wewe Gachagua. Tuongee tupange mambo. The first question I want to ask you in my interview, are you the illegitimate son of Moi? Tuanze hapo. Then number 2, nitakuuliza, what was your role in Molo in 1992? Ulichapa wa Kikuyu. Number 3, it is said that ulienda kwa nyumba ya Matiba and you did very bad things. I want to ask you that. What were you thinking? Kwa nini ulitesa family ya Matiba? Those are the first three questions I want to ask you. Then I shall ask you, how did you get with Ruto? Ilienda mbaya wapi? And why are you telling what I said? Those are the questions that I would like to. So Gachagua, please, I heard you are a truthful man. Meet me, Kenya Revolutionary, niko hapa. Twende tukutane Boston, Massachusetts. Uko ndani, najua uko ndio naenda. Kama si Boston ni California. So like I say, United States is like kama Kenya, US ni kama Kenya ndogo. A lot of Mount Kenya people, they stay in Massachusetts, Boston ama California. Okay? Huko California ama Washington. Wako wengi huko sana. Okay? I've many friends, many friends huko. Mimi niko sawa gongo, hata mimi nitaenda America very soon, nikutane na nani Gachagua. So Gachagua, please reach out to me. Tuongee Gachagua. You are a truthful man, unasema wewe ni truthful. Kutana na mimi tuongee kama wanaume. Sawa? Haya, wale watu wamejua. If you know Gachagua, please tell Gachagua to reach out to me. Yeah? Nyinyi watu ambao mnajua vile mfanye hivyo alafu tukutane na Gachagua. Tukae chini. Mimi sitamuuliza zile maswali ya Obina namuuliza. Hakuna. Na mimi unajua mimi ni Yasser Arafat. Unaona hii Arafat alikuwa anavaanga hii. Natembeanga na let me tell you something very short story. Arafat alikuanga na let me tell you something. Arafat alikuwa anatembeanga na bunduki. Hapa. Anyway, tusiende kwa hiyo story. Hiyo ni story nyingine. But anyway, mimi ni Yasser Arafat Mwafrika mwenyewe. Yasser mwenyewe. PLO. But anyway, enough of jokes. Ni coffee, ni kahawa tu ndio inaingia kidogo. So tuachane tuninio. I want to talk about the biggest conman in Kenya. Raila Omolo Ayatondo Poda, conman mwenyewe, Agwambo Terengenye, Lucifer's young son, Raila Odinga, Amolo Odinga. Let me tell you something about intergenerational conclave. This is what I want to talk about. Wacha niwaeleze kitu. Hii conclave ya Raila, it is another attempt. Wacha niwaambie kitu. Mnisikie vizuri. Listen to me very carefully. Very carefully. Mnanisikia? Tegeni masikio. Shika masikio hivi vile mlikuwa naambiwa primary school. Shikeni masikio hivi. Tega masikio. This intergenerational conclave ya Raila Odinga ambayo anataka kuleta hii dialogue, it is designed to do one thing. Mnisikie vizuri. Tega masikio. Raila Odinga and Ruto have realized that they are going to lose in the next elections. Okay? Even though naambianga, they are going to lose in the next elections. Number 2, they know that, kumbuka, they've rigged the elections. Okay? Wako na ABC, they're in control of elections. They understand that even if they rig these elections, which they are going to rig it because they have their own commissioners, now watu wengine. So they know they are going to rig it. They know that. And they understand that the people, majority of Kenyans, know that they are going to rig this coming election. Tumesikia? Now, they understand this, that once Ruto has been announced in the next election as the winner, the people shall do what? Shall revolt. Karibu sana WS Bank na kuona Ani, karibu Critical Kaur na wengine weo Shimariam. Okay? People will revolt because the tension is running so high, and they know through the intel that they are getting as a government, that's number 1, They cannot have a fair, free, fair, transparent, verifiable elections. Okay? That is the number one thing they know. So they have to rig this election. But the problem is, even if they're going to rig this election and Ruto is declared the winner, people are going to revolt. And once people revolt, that is their biggest fear, because it will not be the normal revolutionary movement that will take place at that time. Kwa sababu hiyo hasira ambayo Wakenya wamebeba leading up to election, if you are going to have any election, watu watachomana na watapigana na panga italia na kadhalika. 2007 will look like a walk in the park. Hii itakuwa serious. Okay? So nisikie vizuri. So the Ayatondo Poda, Conman Raila Odinga, Sidindi, Lucifer's young child, son, Raila Odinga, has conjured up a plan with Ruto, along with Gachagua, along with Martha Karua, along with yule anaitwaje Matiang'i, along with Natembea, along with Eugene Wamalwa. This is what they're coming up with. They want to do something that they did before that they've always tried to do. What is it? Somebody in the chat, can you please tell me what they're trying to do? Aya, naona mmeshindwa. Alama 3. Nilikuwa naenda kuwapatia alama 3 lakini mmeshindwa. They want to conjure up, handpick a bunch of useful idiots, busybodies, people who we think are speaking for the Gen Z. Thank you. MK apewa alama 6. MK sijui nikutumia ya bia ukakunywe leo. They want to change the constitution. They want to change the constitution. Very good, MK. MK alama 3. This is person who's very clever. Very clever. They want to change the constitution before the next election. Sasa Raila katoka, ameona hao watu wako na hasira sana. Now, if you listen to the language that has been used, they've been planning this since siku za Kibake, Uhuru. What they want to do is this. Hii conclave intergenerational nonsense, watakuja wakaa chini. Si unasikia Raila anasema tutukutane Bomas tena, watu wanasema hey, this will not be kama NADCO. Because always wanasemanga dialogue. Watu wameji-reject dialogue. Si watu wameji-reject dialogue. So what they want to do is this. Wanataka those people, first of all, I don't know if what's the name of that young man who alitoa ile story ya Ninio Adani. What is his name? Ambaye anaishi hapa France. Nimesahau jina yake. Somebody send him a DM, one of the government of Kenya. Walimtumia message kwa WhatsApp. Wakamwambia chagua mtu ambaye ako sober. Gen Z acquire part of the Conclave International Amenya. Thank you. MK apewe. Sijui mtu nitapatia pombe aina gani leo. Pombe gani nikutumie leo? MK ako mbele sana. Ako head of the class. Naona. Naona amekaa backbencher huko. Siku hizi hata ameacha kuja shule. Anyways, sijui tutakurudisha ile class nyingine lakini ni sawa tu. Ni sawa tu. Amenya received an inio, and then mkaone kwa ex yake. He received an inio. Government has reached out to him, wanamwambia achague. Shi Mariam naona is not concentrated. Naona amtaki concentrate. Gypsy Corner has been missing class, na kuna wengine wana miss class. Mabri came in yesterday, today is absent. Mkiendelea hivi, nitaongeza school fees. Mkae mstari wa mbele. Kesho naingia na suti. Mkae mstari wa mbele. Like, share na comment na kadhalika. But anyway, they want to handpick a couple of people, alafu watakuwa na ile meeting kama ile ya Bomas. The idea is simple, as MK has told us. Watu wakae chini, people who are perceived to be speaking on behalf of the Gen Z, wakoroge maneno hapa na hizi resolutions za ujinga za ufala kama kawaida ati the government will enter in this MOU to promise to not abduct people anymore. There will be no killings, there will be no shootings, extrajudicial killings, there will be sijui ukabila, cohesion, sijui nini. Then it will be adopted through the parliament, a resolution which will call for a referendum. Mnanielewa? Munashika? Every time you hear Raila Odinga start saying dialogue, jua tu it's about a power sharing kitu ambayo anataka. Hiyo ni power sharing tu. Hii dialogue ya NADCO ilikuwa power sharing ya watu wake wa ODM wa kule na bibi yake na watoto wake. Nao mafala wanamfuatanga hapo wakina Mbadi. Hii ya pili is to do what? Kuchezea wa Kenya, kuwazungusha. Since Gen Z, this youth who are tired of his serikali ya na ninio hizi regime, these political oligarchs ambao wanatuchezea. Yeah, Amenya is a suspect, but I'm very suspicious of him. Sijamtoa kabisa kamili na mchunguza, but he's a suspect kidogo. Mbemi walimfikia wakaanza kumtishatisha. But he's also a suspect. Mpaka tumwangalie vizuri. So anyway. So unasikia. The point is, unaona Gachagua? Gachagua will also be part of that Bomas ninio. Unajua hii inaitwa political theater. Ndio maana nawaambia watu ni content creator. James Carville, one of Bill Clinton's advisors, once said, Hollywood is for beautiful actors. Politics is for ugly actors. Both of them are doing acting. So what I'm saying is this. Raila Odinga, Uhuru Kenyatta, Ruto, Gachagua, Wamalwa, Kalonzo, Karua, and the rest of them, they want to have this intergenerational conclave, which is basically another call for a constitutional amendment. A constitutional amendment which will be served to Kenyan people as a resolution to the problems that are ailing Kenyans. For example, the borrowing, the corruption, spending, extra spending that this government has been doing, lack of accountability, extrajudicial killings, lack of jobs to the youth. Ninio ya police force, changing the police force. Unasikia? This is how it will be served to the Kenyan people. But the real reason why this thing will be brought in and through the parliament to take us to a referendum in order to change the constitution is the original plan that they've always wanted, which is to change the constitution to accommodate the tribal chieftains who make part of this Kenyan corrupt political oligarchs, these colonial stooges, to hold different positions. So Gachagua will be brought to the fold, and they shall sing Kumbaya with Ruto. And we will be meant to believe that now Kikuyus have come back and joined hands again with Ruto in harmony, along with Raila Odinga, in this new constitution amendment that they want to bring forth, which will either give Gachagua the prime ministerial position, Raila to be sijui, I don't know what, Karua to be sijui nini, and all that. To bamboozle, fool majority of Kenyans, most of them from Mount Kenya, try to fool them into thinking that, oh, now everything is okay. Unaona sino wamekuja wakashikana. And guess what? You know, you might look at it and say, no, we will not let that happen. We will not let that happen. Oh, it will happen. It can happen very... Unajua ubaya wa Kenya, we are being programmed by TV. Wacha niwaulize swali. Let me tell you why this can happen very quickly and unbelievably. In 2013, we were coming in, Ruto and Uhuru were facing ICC charges in Hague. Before Ruto ashikane na Uhuru Kenyatta, Ruto was the most hated individual from Mount Kenya, by Mount Kenyan people. Walikuwa wamemchukia. And rightfully so, because Ruto, his hands were traced in the events that happened in Kiambaa, the Kikuyus that were killed and died in Rift Valley. There was evidence that Ruto was involved in that killings. So people hated Ruto. Watu wa Mount Kenya walikuwa mtaki. But, as soon as Mudhamaki came and joined hands and shook hands with Ruto, Ruto sasa ndio alikuwa mtu mwenyewe sasa. Ruto was now the favorite. In fact, sinu walimpigia 2022. That's what I'm saying. That's how quick people forget. The same thing you can say with the Nyanza people of Nyanza province. After 2017, when Uhuru used Mungiki to shoot down people in Nyalenda, in Kondele, okay? Who were wearing police forces, walitumwa huko kuua watu. Uhuru Kenyatta was the most hated politician in Nyanza province by the Luos. But baada ya handshake, Raila kaenda kashika Uhuru, handshake, my brother. Uhuru was there. Now is Uhuru sasa ndio. In fact, he went to Kisumu. Raila alimpeleka Kisumu and people were clapping. Yay. Mnaona mchezo inafanywa? Mnaona hii ujinga inaendelea? Yes. Now, I've mentioned that to demonstrate to you why the Gen Z movement, which is partyless, leaderless, and tribeless, is a very dangerous idea that shakes the very core of what these tribal chieftains, these political oligarchs, Kenyan political class, colonial stooges depend on to rule and lord over us. That is the very thing that threatens them. So in order to fight this organic revolutionary Gen Z movement that does not care about these tribal leaders, these tribal political parties, they have to bombard you with images day in, day out. Day in, day out. Say it with me. Day in, day out. Day in, day out. Gachagua leo, natembea kesho. Raila leo, kesho Ruto. Murkomen leo na ni ukabila tu. If they are tired wanaleta Oscar Sudi anazungumza hapo, Wamonyoro blah blah blah. Day in, day out. Ni ukabila tu. That is what is called programming, television programming. The media is the vehicle that is being used to keep on programming you, to affirm this narrative that they are painting of ukabila between the Kikuyu and the Luo and the Kalenjins who are in government. Munaelewa? So it is always been used that then they create chaos. Then after the chaos, there comes the solution, which is what? Change the constitution to accommodate every tribal chieftain who will be gaining and maintaining their position while they continue propagate the Western colonialist agenda in Africa, in Kenya to be precise. Unaelewa? You see what I'm saying? Leo hamtaki kusikia. Naona leo mmekuwa kichwa ngumu, hamtaki kusikia. Like this video. Like it. Like it. Wewe unaangalia wewe. Like it wewe. Because I'm talking to you. Nyinyi wewe unaangalia. Like it. Na subscribe mara moja. Because I'm telling you what is about to happen. That is how quick we forget. That's how quick we forget. I'm telling you today, wacha niwaambie kitu. Leo Gachagua akitoka Amerika aende kukutane na Ruto Sugoi ama State House, washikane mkono. Majority, not all, majority of people of Mount Kenya will forget what Ruto has done to them. They will. Now mwambia they will. Watamsamea, waseme Ruto ni ametosha. That is how politics has been played in Kenya. That is how we play our politics in Kenya. That is why it is very important for us to fight tooth and nail for the idea of partyless, tribeless, leaderless, and maintain that the 2010 constitution be fully implemented and not changed, not even in a dot. Wasichange hata dot moja, hata iota. Ikuwa tu vile ilikuwa originally. Let it be implemented. Because they fear this, because the 2010 constitution holds them accountable for the atrocities and the crimes they've committed against Kenyans. That's why they don't want to implement it. If the 2010 constitution is fully implemented, people like Babu Owino will not be MPs. People like Sakaja will not be governors. Ruto could not qualify to be president. Raila cannot qualify to be president. Gachagua cannot qualify to be president. Martha Karua cannot qualify to be president. Matiang'i will be in committee. You see what I'm saying? That's why they don't want to implement this constitution that we have right now. They want to kucheza na sisi kwa ukabila, alafu wana change constitution to give them a constitutionally mandated position like deputy prime minister. Wapatie Matiang'i moja, Gachagua apewe nyingine, Mudavadi aingizwe hapo, Natembewa apewe wengine, sijui nani apewe hapo, wapewe wengine. Mchezo wa kutuzungusha because they are trying to, instead of dealing with the problem, they are creating position and making you, convincing you through the media to program you to accept what they've done by convincing you by saying, tukiweka Matiang'i as the deputy prime minister of Kenya, shida ya corruption itaisha. Tukiweka Martha Karua as the minister of constitutional affairs, shida ya judicial jurisprudence itaisha. Tukiweka Raila Odinga as the sijui nini prime minister, easy ministerial position, they'll work effectively. These were people who actually had positions in government, and all of them, from Kalonzo in 1990s when he was the vice president or whatever the case, minister of, I don't know, of foreign affairs, they've all failed. But here they are in 2025, they're running for president, the top office. They're pretending to stand with Gen Zs. And soon as Gen Z wants to have a revolution to take them out constitutionally by exercising their power directly. Oh, now they want an intergenerational conclave meeting. Oh, now they want it. Why? Because they want to convince us that if we have another conclave intergenerational meeting, and by the way, conclave is a secret meeting. That's the definition. So why should we have a secret meeting? And they want to convince you that when they change the constitution, changing the constitution to give Matiang'i a position, to give Raila Odinga a position, to give Sijui Nani a position, will solve our problems. Let us remind Raila Odinga that NADCO, that was meant to address these very problems that we are facing, that Gen Zs are fighting for, have not solved anything. So dialogue is not a solution. The solution is a popular revolution, a decision by the majority of Kenyans to remove all political class, members of the political class. Raila Odinga, Uhuru Kenyatta, Gachagua, Martha Karua, Matiang'i, Kalonzo Musyoka, Eugene Wamalwa, Natembeya, Kioni, and everyone who has been in government from Ruto going downwards should be taken to jail. All of them. Tunawafunga alafu tunaanza kuwauliza maswali of the ministries and the position that they stood on. Waeleze, what did they do? And based on their answer, we shall either let them free or tunawanyonga. But the number one thing, we have to clear up the system. You cannot have these same baboons and put them in a new forest and think that this forest will be the same. I mean, different. That is what I'm saying. So tuache mchezo wa kucheza hapa na hii mambo ya sijui conclave nonsense. But the bigger point I'm making today is Raila Odinga, nimemwonea 18. Nimemwonea 18. Go read his statement on his X page. Nimemwonea 18. Anataka constitutional change. Huyu mzee. Ameboeka. The guy is 427 years old. Hataki kuacha siasa. Power is too sweet for him. Power is too sweet for him. So again, Gachagua, tafadhali, ukifika huko majuu, tupigie simu. Reach out to me, Gachagua. Any Gachagua listener, if you have a connection to Gachagua, nitafute. Yasser Arafat, aka Kenya Revolutionary, the non-conformist, your political dietitian. Reach out to me, Gachagua. Tuongee. I want to see how truthful you are. Kwa sababu mimi, mtu kama mimi, I'm willing to die for what I believe in. Kama unafikiri ni mchezo, nipigie simu. Tukutane, tuongee. Kama unafikiri mimi naongea hapa, hii ni siasa tu, naongea hapa kwa. Tukutane, tuongee. Kama wanaume. Kama unafikiri some of nyinyi, kuna wengine wanaingia kwa siasa, tunaongea siasa tu ya kuongea. Some of us tumekubali kufa kwa sababu ya siasa. Tukutane so you can feel my energy. Now let hata watu wako, I'm not going to sitakuwa ati mini a danger to you. Let hata watu wako ukae nao hapo just for security. Hata uhaya security hapa hivi. Mimi nitakuja na watu watatu. Wawili hapa, mmoja mbele. Mtu wa kamera na watu wawili. Tosha. Let us security. Hakuna shida. Feel my energy. Ujue nani ni. Tunataka kujua ni. Feel my energy. And I will fast for 3 days before I meet you. Wacha ile fast ya Pasaris. Tuelezane ukweli. Because Kenya has to change. Revolution inakuja. Wacha hii revolution ya ujinga. Revolution. Hao vijana shall take over. Ruto utatoka. Na wewe Gachagua na Raila. Mtatoka. Mpende msipende. Saa yenu imeisha. Hii mchezo ya conclave na ujinga yote imeisha. tutawanyonga. So make your amends right now. Anza kuoza msamaha saizi. Talk sense. Atone for the sins that you did. Wewe Gachagua, wale wa Kikuyu uliwaua huko Molo na familia ya Matiba. Tueleze. Where were you? Can you atone for that? Ulikuanga Dios UDC. If you want to be, if you're claiming to be the leader of Mount Kenya, eleza kinagaubaga. Yeah. Kalonzo Musyoka, when he was Minister of Foreign Affairs, hata alikuwa anataka maandamano isiendelee 1990s. Sasa yeye ndiye anajifanya ati we are all sijui nini. Kalonzo is not somebody we shall. Kalonzo hata ni mtu wa sasa Kalonzo ni watu tu wamekosa kazi. They are just standing there. They want to be seen in TV ati wanaraningi for president. Bangi mamako alinipatia bangi. Paul Mwinga. Umbwa wewe. Mamako alipatia bangi. Soon we find out who the real revolutionaries. Mama alituambia hivi. Wacha mchezo. Koja. Watu ongea. There's one thing kwa hapa, lakini ukikutana na mtu sura kwa sura, hapo ndio unajua pale mambo iko. Wacha ile makelele mnapiga huko hivyo. This is an inio. This is a ni vizuri anakuja. I want to find out where he is. Tuongee. This is a neutral ground. Hakuna ati sijui uko mlima mawapi. Let's see what you're made of. Let's see what you're made of. Mwanamume unajuanga pale kisa zile amekuwa outnumbered. Ndio unajua pale hako kwa in his comfort zone. Hapo ndio unajua mwanamume ni nani. Sile kupiga makelele huko ninio. Hapo ndio tunataka kujuanga mwanamume ni nani. It's one thing to talk huko unaulizwa na sijui Sam Gituku sijui nani ama yule anaitwanga nani yule anakimbia ninio. The fix the nation. Unaulizwa maswali za ujinga ati why are you sijui nini. Hapa tutakuuliza maswali za ukweli. Vile ulikuanga dio uliua watu wangapi? Reach out to me. Nyinyi mtu mna connections za ninio za Gachagua. Blood clot. Reach out. Reach out. Mujue ukweli. I wanted to meet Martha Karua alijificha. Martha Karua alikuja is it Yale? Yale is in Connecticut. I think it was in Harvard. Harvard is in Massachusetts. Lakini alifanya ile mambo yake online. I wanted to meet her. Hao watu jificha. They know. hata nani, hata Matiangi. Matiangi is the biggest coward. Hata nikwambia Matiangi never vile alikuja US, he never announced where he will be. Apostingi pale. Matiangi. The only person anaweza kupatia nani huyu mtu wa mabangi anaitwa by the way. What's his name? Uchali alikuwa anasema Wajakoya was it inaitwanga, is it Austin Reggae Festival? Dallas Reggae Festival. Is it Dallas or Houston? Dallas, I think. Dallas. Yeah, Dallas. Yeah. Matiangi ni mwoga. Matiangi nilisikia tu 3 days akishatoka. Ndio nasikia ati Matiangi sijui alikuanga kwa hoteli fulani. It was a closed door meeting. Mambo yu mafalafala hapo wamevaa koti walikuwa wanasikia Matiangi akiongea. It was not open to the public. If you're going to be the leader, unataka kuwa leader wa country, open the forum to everyone. Let people ask you questions. Nilikwambia, Martha Karua nilikangoja. wakapost kumbe meeting yake ilikuwanga virtual meeting. Yes, wanaogopa. They are scared of being grilled by diaspora. Because niliwambia, most of these leaders, these oligarchs, they're not, they're full of shit. They're nothing. Ni watu wana akili. You know, uko nyumbani, you can take advantage of the watu wa uko ushago. Unaambia, nitawajengea nyumba hapa, nitawaletea lami hapa, na watu wanapiga makofi kwa sababu the disparity between the have and have not is so huge that hata mtu akikutumbia shilingi 200 ukaenda ukapiga makofi hapo for 2 hours, you will go and do it. But diaspora ni watu ambayo they've came here, they struggled, wakasoma, wakapata pesa yao, and they understand the politics vile iko huko nyumbani na vile iko hapa. Na wamejua what democracy means, and they know what the constitution entails. So ukikuja hapa unaanza kuambia watu ati I'll do this and this and this, watakufungulia kitabu ya matendo yako. Watakuuliza, Matiang'i, wewe ulikuanga ninio? Sam Gatundu did not ask that bastard the real questions. Watamuuliza, watu walikufa kwa mkono yako, can you eleza? And you can't get away with it because all the facts are at the fingertips. Unadanganya, tunafungua tu hivi, tunasema report ndio hii. Matiang'i, there's a news clip where you said you don't care about human rights. Jibu swali. That's what I'm telling you, these people are cowards. Wameogopa. They're scared. Na huku hakuna uoga. Hawezi ati hapa hakuna magunzi, tutaleta ati magunzi wako ati sijui achape kijana ati kwa sababu amekuuliza swali kali. Ati kijana nyamaza. No. Hapa tutakuuliza ndugu yangu. Tutakuuliza ndugu yangu. Ndio maana unaonanga Matiang'i kuja nifungia, wanaenda huko kwa dinio. In fact, they don't let wananchi waongee. Wanafunga mlango alafu it's just a closed dinio. Na he doesn't flow any questions. Atapiga maswali, ataongea speech yake, kimaliza na kaa chini, watu wanapiga makofi alafu hakuna mtu anauliza swali. They cannot have an open forum because these people are fake. Wameogopa. So yeah. Naona ndugu yetu ambao ananinio wa Martha Karua anafanya kazi yake. I'm telling you, these people, mimi naambia, hawa watu ni cowards. These people are cowards. Ukikutana now the real life. Chali, mimi nakwambia, unaona mtu, unaona maisha yake, si hata maisha. Unamwona hivi unasema, chali, hata ile kitu niko nataka kufanyia, hata nitakuonea tu huruma nikusalimie nikwambie, mazee, uko fiti lakini. Sawa. That's what I'm saying. But anyway, it's 58 minutes. I always go 1 hour, kama kawaida. But anyway, guys, so that's the main news. That's the main shtick here. The main line. Ruto, Rigathi Gachagua is a content creator. I'm glad he's coming. Anakuja diaspora. I heard he's going to US for 3 months. We shall try to locate him, okay? Tutajaribu. Networks yetu tujaribu tujue kwa wapi. My suspicion is either, like I said, it's either Massachusetts, because Uhuru akikujanga US anakuanga Massachusetts. He's a Boston, I think he has a ninio huko. Martha Karua, Massachusetts, like I say. It's either that or California. But tutajua tutawalocate tu kidogo. Tujue tuongee vizuri. It's an interview. Si kitu wengine, siogope Gachagua, sitetemeke. Ni interview, boss. Sitetemezwe. Other than that, Raila Odinga, like I said, the whole conclave bull crap, it's about the change in the constitution, the attempt to change the constitution one more time. Because to them, in their minds, they want to convince you that the people of the Gen Zs, and even the people who you saw, the youths that are protesting in Mount Kenya, they think that they're protesting because they want their leaders to be in position. That's not it. Kenyans want real change. They want a true economic change. They want police to stop brutalizing them. They want corruption to end. They don't want to be profiled by their tribe, regardless of whether you are a Kikuyu or a Luo or Mkamba or whatever the case is. We know what ails Kenya. And the solution is definitely not a dialogue, intergenerational conclave or whatever you want to call it. Okay? And it's definitely not the change of the Constitution. The Constitution is there to protect the Kenyans. It should not be amended. The Constitution is not the problem. It is about implementation of it. That's why I always say, number one problem of Kenya is law enforcement. The Constitution is there, but it's not being implemented. Okay? The president still operate ni kamba any king. But anyway, guys, it's been 1 hour. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, and comrades. Share, like, comment, do all the good stuff. I'll talk to you guys later. Tuonane baadaye. I might come and have another session if anything happens. But anyway, I'll go watch Real Madrid versus PSG. Ama namna gani? Anyway, guys, peace and blessings. I'll see you guys later. Peace. I'm out.